Our year-end review of 2022, the year of some pretty insane real estate stuff. But we're going to be recapping it for you because there is some stuff you missed out on. But you know what's crazy is I was up till late last night to tell you that we got some new topics that really came under fire, which is EXP being attacked by misinformation from a new competitor. What? It's wild. You would not believe the drama that's going on with that. And then if you want drama, we're about to talk about TikTok trying to get themselves banned in the US again. Like, what the heck, TikTok? All right, we're about to get into this. It starts now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scale Through the Fail. I am your host, Robert Bean, and as I said in the little hook in the beginning, I was up super late last night working on some very juicy news in real estate. I had totally different plans, and then I saw this news, and I said, "Well, shoot, there's no way we're not going to talk about this." So I'm going to tell you real quick what we're going to be covering today. So over the last 24 hours, there has been some crazy drama. If you're a real estate agent and you've used social media in the last 24 hours, there's no way that you have not seen the talks about EXP's anti-recruiting law for agents that leave. But here's the thing, because you never take it. Just take it all with a grain of salt, right, at surface value. After some light research, it actually seems like a campaign blatantly misleading the public by, guess what? A literal copy of the EXP model. Are you kidding me? I can't make this stuff up, guys. Then we're also going to be jumping into TikTok, just trying to just say, you know what? Hey, that guy who just spread misinformation, hold my beer, because I'm going to try and get myself banned again in the US. But I promise this time's different. And then, of course, it's the end of the year. You know, we got to recap some of the big things that happened over the year, some of the huge changes within the real estate industry. But like we always do every week, we are going to bring in our special guest, Larry. Do we ever decide on a name? I don't even know. But Larry, the mortgage guy, we'll just say that because it shows it on the screen. So that just seems consistent, right?
Yes, that's consistent.
Good morning, buddy. And
Morning, boss.
glad to have you with us today. So listen, I get to surprise you with your new slideshow that I worked on for you. Now, I want to say the Canva version had animations, but I don't know how to make that work.
You know how to edit Canva? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Canva had like little graphic animations. Eventually, it's gonna have all the animations and everything.
That's
and
cool.
It's gonna look great. But right now, it's gonna be static images. So yeah, you're just gonna. I'll stick with you on this one, so that you can tell me when to change the slide because I have them.
Okay.
So everybody, it is time for What the Mortgage is Going On. Look at this. Oh my gosh, is that not beautiful?
That is awesome. I like it.
What the mortgage is going on. Wait, let's do it this way. I think I need to do it this way. I don't want to block anything funny. Let's try it this way for now.
Sure.
What the mortgage is going on with Larry. Look at that. You name little pop. Now, normally, again, there's animations. Like the sun and the cloud, like the sun is spinning and the rain is falling, right? You know, good day, bad day type of thing. But it's cool. It's cool. In 5 minutes or less, I don't have a timer yet, so we're just gonna try our best on this one.
Is that a piece of chalk in my ear?
I want Larry to have his reaction. So here's my favorite part coming up. You ready, Larry?
Yeah.
Yikes. That makes sense. For everyone who doesn't know, these are Larry's boys, and I knew I had to surprise them by throwing them into the show today.
That is awesome.
Yeah, right? All right, Larry. Go ahead and take it over. Tell me if you need me to elaborate on any of the craziness I put in your slideshow.
No, so the slides or the topic for today or headline today, I guess is what we call it, is rates are slightly lower. And again, we're talking about yesterday's rates, right? So they're slightly lower, but they started higher this week, right? And I mean, in general, the rates are up. Okay, they were last week when we reported at a 6.32%, but now that is 6.5%. And even though you see, I guess, if you see in green, that's always a positive thing. That means the rates are improved. They were actually higher than this, right? So in general, they're higher across the board, and because of that, people are kind of panicking. But the way we're looking at it, I guess we, as in like the people who are researching this information, it's just we're in holiday mode. The MBS is kind of, it's moving, but it's really frustrating to try to figure out where we're really at, right? And we're basically sort of on a consensus thinking there's nothing to really look for until the second week of January, because that's when the Federal Reserve is going to react to, or if they do react to the inflation data. But as you can see, the MBS did decrease a little bit. Last week it was 99.41. This week is 98.91. And again, I always talk about the MBS because it's what is one of the most biggest factors affecting interest rates for mortgages. So that's the reason why we bring it up. But if you look at the rates last week, again, 6.32% for the 30-year fix. In general, they didn't change from the week before that. But if you look at this week's, then you'll see that it did go up across the board, but it all kind of went back down. But again, not enough to really panic about. Now, I did have people say, hey, aren't the rates in the fives right now? Not really. They were in the low sixes, and aggressive lenders were quoting high fives, but people were saying low fives and mid fives. Like, no, that's misinformation. I don't know where they got that from. It's always been in the sixes, right? So in general, the rates are kind of in the mid six range, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, and that's really the name of the game for the end of the year, right? So in terms of takeaways, again, they were pretty much consistent with what happened throughout the week, right? They went a little bit lower, but I mean, it did spike up a little bit. The U.S. bond does follow the European bonds, which allow for a little dip, right? Because the European bonds, of course, they had lower yields as well. Again, in the big picture, none of the information I'm providing you is really important enough or meaningful enough to really determine what's going to happen in 2023. We don't know. Basically, we don't know where the momentum is going to go, right? The second week when the inflation data comes out or the Federal Reserve comes out is when we will have maybe a better idea of what to expect. But like I said, even when it's boring, I mean, and I would say it is boring because it's not like there's been major changes in the last 3-4 reports. But, I guess Robert would agree with me that, that boring or stable is actually good for us because then we can adapt to that. We can react to that. We can build our business around that.
And I'm going to say it like I said it in here because Larry didn't know I added the fourth point, and that is even when it's boring, you should know what's happening. You should know when it's boring. You should know when it's bad. You should know when it's good. As a real estate agent, you should know what's going on so that when your client asks what's going on, or how about what the mortgage is going on, you can give them a clear and concise answer, even if that answer is really boring. In fact, a lot of times, how many of us would just like to have boring news to give people when it comes to mortgage rates and not, oh, it's up, oh, it's down, oh my gosh, I quit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and instability or inconsistency or unpredictability equals stress, right? When people ask me about the rates, 9 times out of 10, they're not asking because they're calm, cool, and collective, right? They're asking because they're stressed. They want to make decisions. They don't know what to do. They don't know. I mean, they're not asking because they're just casually just wanting to know the rates. No, they're asking because it's affecting their livelihood, and affecting their mentalities, affecting their life choices, right? So there's a lot of stress when it comes to unpredictability. That's why we do like boring.
All right, now we get to break up. So we're gonna have some what we learned today in What the Mortgage. But first, we're gonna do a little fun segment I added in just just for the heck of it, called "What the Funny Fact." Because I figured why Larry, you and I make jokes and say funny random things all the time. This would be a perfect segment, and you don't even know what the fact is. So whatever
No,
reaction you're gonna get is gonna be authentic and real.
I
So
have
this
yeah,
little
no
segment
idea.
is called "What the Funny Fact." Random funny facts that make you go WTFF. I'm already laughing. I don't even know why. Here we go. You ready, Larry?
Yes, I'm ready.
Did you know that 7% of American adults believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows?
Wow.
Listen, I got you. WTFF? That's over 23 million people.
that's, that's a lot of
7%
people,
didn't sound like that much. It's adults too, remember. 7%
right?
didn't sound like that much. Until I went and took the population and did 7% of that, and I said, wait, that's over 23 million people.
Wow.
So did you know? Did you know, Larry?
No, I did not know that. I mean, I've heard something like that before, but 23 million is a lot of people, man. Wow,
23 million is a lot of people.
that's a lot
All
of people.
right, let's recap what we learned today. Oh, wait, that's right. Did that make you go WTFF? If it did,
Yes.
leave a comment with a random funny fact that you know, and we might just feature it in a future episode. We would love to have more audience featured stuff. So drop a comment of a random funny fact. And yes, you can go to Google and find one. It's all right. That's what I have to do. All right. Today we learned that. Larry, tell me if I'm wrong on anything I recap. Interest rates are down by 0.04 points.
Yes, from the day before. Yes.
From the day before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I even put on the date, it showed yesterday's date,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously we didn't have time to do it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgage-backed securities are up by 0.34 points.
I think so. Yes, if I remember reading it. Yes.
Don't worry. You don't need to fact check that. It's from your screenshots. I just copied
Okay.
and pasted. So you're
Okay.
good.
Good. Good.
And then most importantly, probably of the whole thing, is that where does milk come from should probably be a mandatory class in school.
there's probably a lot of mandatory stuff that needs to be taught for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching What the Mortgage is Going On. We've got more packed with you. In fact, Larry's going to be joining us along with a very special guest who, at the last minute, was a knight in shining armor and is going to grace us this morning. So, Larry, you will be joining us shortly. For everybody else, if you liked weekly updates on mortgage interest rates and mortgage-backed securities, basically what's happening in the real estate world, head on over to our YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot more over there very soon. At Robert Bean Official. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and if you see this little face right here, you know you have the right channel right over there. I just moved the mouse on the screen, but I don't think it actually shows the mouse on the screen. Larry, I will see you in like 2 seconds.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. I have a special guest who, like I said, I was late last night and I was like, yo, listen, can you jump on with me today? I've got some juicy topics and I know you're going to have a blast. And he's like, well, I'm out of town, but yes. So everybody, please welcome Oliver Bohr onto the show. Oliver, what's up, brother?
How you doing, man? Thanks so much for having me.
I am so glad to have you on the show. What'd you think, since this is your first time seeing the new and revised What the Mortgage is Going On? Give me your honest feedback. What'd you think?
Honestly, I kind of didn't want to come on. I was kind of enjoying just watching. Like, I want more of the. First off, I don't think I've ever seen anybody make mortgages interesting, but you guys found a way to make that happen. And second off, that what the funny fact thingy. I don't know where you're getting that information from. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. 7% of adults, and as you mentioned again, it's like that's not 7% of like school kids that are like below 7 years old. Like that's 7% of adults. So if we're ever like stressed out, frustrated, thinking where are all the qualified people at that actually understand the process of buying a home, like, well, 7% of these people that we're hoping will buy a home with us think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. So I guess cut people a little bit of slack when you're getting frustrated about whether or not they're qualified. Like if they don't know where chocolate milk comes from, they probably need a little bit more education about the home buying process also.
Did I don't know if I showed the. I might have went to the slide too fast. I added this little cow on the side that
I saw
says,
it for a moment.
"I thought we were past stereotyping based on the color of our leather."
Oh my god, bro, you're gonna get canceled for that.
Really?
No, I
Crap.
don't think
Just
so.
watch. I don't even know which side's gonna hate me.
I don't. Honestly, I don't think anyone knows at this point. You just gotta go along for the ride and hope that. I don't know.
So Oliver, thank you, man, so much for being on. Um, for those who don't know, Oliver is an amazing marketer. And he runs a great program called In a Box, and it's an amazing product that really can help anybody just trying to optimize their real estate business as much as possible. And also, one thing I love about Oliver is that he's just got such a sharp mind. I mean, there's times where I've sat down with him, and in like 5 seconds, he's like this, and this, and I'm like, yes, let's go. So I think he's going to have a lot of fun with us when we talk about these topics today. We're going to bring Larry back as well. Larry, what's up, brother? Thank you for coming back. It's been so long, obviously.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So Larry, I didn't actually ask you. What you think of our little what the mortgage going on, the slides? Larry did not know what the slides were. I made those and I surprised him with them.
Yeah, he was saying he was going to put it in a special format. That was not what I was expecting. And I liked how he photoshopped a piece of chalk on my ear. That's pretty cool, right?
That was I wasn't Photoshop, it was Canva. So like I had to literally clip the top of your ear, then put the chalk on it, and then put just that piece of chalk or that your ear over the chalk so it looked like it was in your ear.
Nice.
Not even
nice.
kidding. That's how dedicated I was to make this beautiful for you.
You know
It's
what I
very
think about when I hear about all of this? I think about Gary Vaynerchuk talks about the fact that you got to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process of freaking clipping Larry's ear to put a piece of chalk behind it, like that's not like good attention to detail. Like if we're looking at a strict ROI, like that's a terrible use of your time. But bro, you're just having fun and enjoying the process, man. And that's why we love you so damn much.
yeah.
You know what? I just wanted people to see this and say exactly what you just said. I want them to see this and be like, whoever made this just loved what they did and wanted me to have fun, me, the viewer, to just have an experience. Because I think we've all been there where we see the difference between someone who's just doing the bare minimum of their job to put out a product and then someone who's like, I want people to experience what I have for them, my passion, my excitement. And Larry's goofy and funny like me. Like you guys, you know us, Oliver, or at least I know you know me. I don't know if you know Larry. Well, hey, Larry, Oliver, nice.
This is
Nice
actually
to
the
meet
first
you.
time we're
Nice
meeting.
to introduce you guys.
I loved your segment. I really did. As I was saying to Robert just before you came on 1 minute ago, I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about mortgages and me actually be interested in what they were talking about, to be honest. And this is supposedly, as you mentioned in step 4, this was supposedly supposed to be a boring update, but I had a great time watching it. So that was awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we try to. Mortgages are boring in general, right? So we just try to liven it up a little bit. We give you the information you need, but we try to dance while we're doing it, right? Like you said,
information you need in a way you didn't want.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you enjoy the process, right? Enjoy the process, and that's what we're doing. We're enjoying the process because we want to give the information, we want to give the content and inform people, but we also want to have fun doing it, right?
Otherwise, you guys ready? We got to jump into this because these are juicy, okay? We are going to start with TikTok. So here's how it's going to roll. I'm going to pull up a slide. It's just going to be the headline thing so that it's good for people watching and all of that, so they know what topic we're talking about. I'm going to read to you basically the description that I do, because what I do is I take articles, I'll condense them down into a short description, and then I'm actually going to ask you each a question about it, and then we're going to discuss it. So I'll ask Oliver one question, then Larry, I'll ask you a different question, and then we'll just kind of discuss it a little bit. And hopefully we'll get some people who are engaging in the audience too, as well. But either way, we're going to have a blast. So TikTok might get banned again in the US. And when I say again, that's why it's might get banned again. There was a huge problem. I think it was last year, Larry. Was it last year or was it 2 years ago? Where there was it Microsoft? Yeah, Microsoft that was trying to buy TikTok, and the US said, listen, there's a bunch of data leak issues, there's some security issues. We think that the Chinese government's going to use TikTok to spy on US. And I'm like, well, welcome to every other social media platform, but we won't get into that.
Mhm.
And so they, if I recall right, they blocked the acquisition from Microsoft. I could be wrong. Anybody, feel free to fact check me. I did this late last night, so I did not get to do as much past research, but I did get to do this research. So let me tell you what's happening and just happened right now. So TikTok, the beloved social media platform known for its wholesome content and dedication to user privacy, has shocked the world by admitting to using its own app to spy on reporters. We are obviously just completely stunned and have no words to describe how completely unsurprised we are. It's not like we had any doubts about the integrity of this company or anything. No. So here's the thing. Will this be the final straw for the US government to ban TikTok in the US? Or is it too useful to use? Right? So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Oliver Bohr, our special guest. My question for you, and I hope you're ready for it because you ain't get questions like this before. So is spying on reporters kind of like when you work an open house and have a buyer who wants to show themselves around and you say, no problem, I'll just be in the kitchen. But then you're secretly peeking around corners, putting your ear to the wall, listening for everything they're doing, and casually strolling around to run into them? I'm just asking for a friend, obviously not for myself.
No, obviously. I don't think it is. I think that TikTok spying on reporters is almost like a buying agent, let's say, peering through the home buyer's window while they're talking about it in the kitchen or whatever over dinner. I think that would basically be the same thing. I'm not sure if you're in my open house and me kind of like casually just listening around the corner. Like, I wouldn't say that's the same.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I would say that if you're on TikTok, then if they're spying on you while you're on TikTok, but they're obviously spying on you, I say the word spy, I know it sounds like a conspiracy theorist, whatever, but I mean, it's no thing. If they're looking at your data while you're not on TikTok and everything that you're doing while you're not on the platform, then no, I think it's basically like peering through the window and listening through the wall when they're in their own home having a conversation about what they thought about the open house. I think it's a little bit more intrusive. And in fact, so it's interesting. I'm very conflicted when it comes to TikTok because as a marketer, I love that there's a platform out there that you can get your message to so many people so fast. My problem is that as a person also, I am quite conflicted with it because it's not like they're just gathering your data while you're on the platform and while you're on the app. And I know that other platforms, other softwares do this as well. But like TikTok will look at your files like on your phone. Like, I don't know, maybe Facebook does, but I don't know that they do. It just feels a lot more intrusive. And I don't know. It feels a lot more intrusive than just listening in on somebody's conversation at my open house. That's my thoughts.
I don't know which way to have it, by the way. I kind of like our faces really close to each other.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Group hug.
You might do it a different way so you can clip it out and make your YouTube little shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know which. This is the struggle I have, guys. I don't know which one to do when I do the live shows to make it repurposing easier. We figured out a cool way to do it this way. I just have to do a new overlay. So Oliver, I love what you said because I feel like that's always the problem that any business owner runs into is that there's things we become consciously aware of that we have to decide, does the good outweigh the bad? Right? Like, you can turn around and say, I want to go help people. All right, I'm going to go help people. But you go to a place where they're doing bad things. And you're like, okay, am I condoning the behavior by being there, or am I shining a light and separating them from that in that environment? And that's a hard one. I think that's a really hard one to.
Can I actually take it a step further? Because it goes beyond just an ethical problem. It's also a pragmatic problem as well. Because let's say, and I haven't gone all in on TikTok. And I know, again, if TikTok is around to stay, then that's probably a mistake. I don't know what the future is of TikTok. I know that like people are trying to get rid of it for a while, but like I don't know if it's, again, news or noise. I don't know if it's here to stay or if it's going. But pragmatically speaking, if I'm going to be coaching my clients, let's say, on how to get their message out in front of people, I'm doing them a disservice by not at least presenting this as a viable option. But then if we're going to create a whole strategy and put a whole bunch of effort and energy and bandwidth into this thing that's going to be gone in like 2 minutes, like this is why I love like evergreen strategies as well. Like email marketing is not going to go anywhere, right? YouTube, barring any crazy circumstances, is not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's something that I know will be there for a while, and that's something like let's double down on that. TikTok, it's like, yeah, there's an ethical problem, fine, but also just pragmatically speaking, like I don't know what the future is of TikTok. I know that, like, let's say the reach that they have, I don't know if it'll be like this. I know it's already less now than it was maybe, let's say, a year ago, and I don't know what it's going to look like in a year from now. Like I just don't know, and that
Kind of reminds me of like the uncertainty of Vine,
yes,
where Vine was just unstoppable, and I mean, if you weren't on it, what were you even doing with your life? And then like literally overnight, it was gone. I mean, it just disappeared. And Larry, I'm going to let you get into this, by the way, because I know you're super active on TikTok, so I'm excited. But you know what you were saying, Oliver, about the difference between your personal opinion and then not denying your clients something useful. It kind of reminds me of when the real estate market was just insane, literally earlier this year, and agents had this dilemma of where clients were like, okay, I want to win this house. And to honestly tell them the best way to win the house was you've got to essentially overpay for it. You've got to waive inspections. You've got to, if you can, waive financing contingencies. Now, my conscience says this is all bad advice. These are the only things that protect you. Wisdom with your finances, right? Don't make bad financial decisions, right? Inspections to make sure that you're not getting screwed over by the home that you're buying. And then financial contingency. What if you lose your job? I don't want you to still be liable to purchase that home. But at the end of the day, they didn't ask me, right, to decide their situation and what's good for them. They just asked me, how do we win?
Right.
Well, okay, this is how you win, and I'm going to advise you on how you win. I can't withhold that from you, but I am going to make you consciously aware of the risks that come with this, right? So is that an approach you take when you look at this with clients?
The equivalent is the exact equivalent there. Again, for anybody listening, I'm a marketer and a coach. I'm not a practicing realtor myself. So I'm a marketing coach. I stay very much within that lane. My challenge is that if let's say I'm going to close somebody into Inbox and it's becoming obvious that they're not going to put the work in necessary, all that I can do, I think it would be irresponsible for me to say, I'm not going to sign you up because I don't believe in you. I don't think that's fair. On the other hand, it's like, well, there is an ethical problem. It's like, you genuinely didn't think I was going to do the work, so why would you let me purchase? So what I do is I say, like, I just want to let you know, this is a bad investment if you're not going to put in the work, and it is a lot of work. I'm not going to say I don't believe you're going to do it, but this is a lot of work, and it's a bad investment. But it's all about working smarter and not working harder. But if you're going to insist on basically staying on this hamster wheel and just literally burning the candle on both ends nonstop, and you refuse to change anything, it's a bad investment. So are you willing to kind of change your habits and make your life better? If the answer is yes, I think it's my responsibility to just do what they've asked me to do. And I think it's the same as a realtor. Like, you can say something like, yeah, this is under normal circumstances a bad advice, but given the predicament that we're in right now, this is the only way to win. Do you want to go ahead with this? As long as you've presented all of the information, I think it's just, listen, your fiduciary responsibility to your clients is to present all of the information and to offer your advice, but also sometimes your advice changes in the context. As long as you give them all of that information, I think you've done your due diligence.
I love that. All right, Larry, it's your turn, brother. We're going to get into this. I got a question for you. I hope you're ready for it, because you ain't. I'm just going to answer for you ain't ready. Just like Oliver was like, what is he asking me right now?
I had no idea.
That's the whole point. I'm experimenting. All I do on this show right now is I just experiment to see what's funny, what engages people, and yet still provides them value.
Do I now get to add to the TikTok discussion?
You will. You absolutely will. It's still going to be TikTok related. You're going to get your random funny question like Oliver did, where it's like, what is he saying? And then I'm going to ask you some very, very specific questions about you and TikTok and your perspective.
Sure.
So for anybody wondering why I'm changing the camera angle so much, I'm just doing a whole bunch so that when my editor looks at this, he can be like, that one was really good and I was able to use it. so that I can figure out, because I have no idea which one looks
This is
best.
what I use for repurposing. I use this one, and then I have like a template, like a background. I use Vid, and then I have like the two screens on top of each other, and then it's kind of like a progress bar and then captions. This is what I use.
See, that's what I was thinking too. I think we've used this one in the past, but I figured, hey, throw in the other ones. Let's see what happens. Like this one. Whoa. All right.
I just
All right,
when,
Larry, here
when
we
we
go.
start arguing. That's only when you argue is when you make the three faces.
Oh, dude,
whatever.
that's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to go? Huh, Larry, you
Yeah.
want to go right now?
What I think
Yes.
of, I think of Kanye West on Sway. You don't got the answers, Sway. You don't got the answers, Sway.
You guys are cracking me up. All right, Larry, here we go. Do you think TikTok will start offering a new feature where agents can track the movements of prospective leads in real time when they disappear after they just said that they were ready to buy? Obviously, this is just for safety reasons, of course.
I think possibly, yeah. I mean, there's these. I mean, whenever I download like a new social app, right? There's always like a find my friend or find your friend feature where you can actually, you make yourself available to be found, and you can look at the map. You can see where all your friends are at. You who are using that app. Right. It's something that's actually very popular in a lot of apps. Like I forgot there's like a navigation app. I forgot what it's called, where like you can actually see all the different people using the app at that time, like literally at that very moment. So location based. I guess notifications or information is very real. It's Waze, right? Waze is what I use, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I'm on Waze, I can see all the Waze users, right? So location, so location based like information is very real, and I don't know. I think there's a chance that if someone opts in, it's like, yeah, I'm allowing my friends to know where I'm at any given moment using my app. And then you, the agent who happens to be a friend with this person who happens to be a possible home buyer, you might be able to friend them and be able to know.
Yeah,
like
you know what's so funny is when I wrote this question, I was laughing. I was like, this is so silly. And then I actually started to think about like where technology has come just over my lifetime. And like, okay, well, I track my wife with a Life 360 app, right? When she goes out driving to make sure she's good. Like if the car stopped in one place and it's in the middle of the freeway, I'm going to be like, okay, are you in an accident? Like,
yep.
I can't even tell you how many times that's happened where my wife is like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, and I had to pull over to answer texts and calls. And she's like, okay, I thought you died.
Yeah.
But I thought about it and I'm like, just wait though. There will be a time where some platform will have this location-based software, and then it'll be all of them, right? And they'll be like, hey, do you want to know where Larry is right now? And then you bump into them at the grocery store, at the gym. I mean, and you're like, oh, what? Oliver, I haven't seen you in forever. That's so crazy. We go to the same gym. And it's like, yeah, you just tracked me. Like, that's like, I think that could be become a thing in the ads and marketing world. I mean,
I think Facebook already has it for your friends. I think Facebook definitely already has it.
Well, they did the check-in stuff, and there was things where like you'd check into a place, and there were stories about people who like they showed up where my friend checked in, and like that was wild to see. And so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you think us loan officers, stalk you agents? You know, when you're at open house and you check in, dude, we appear 15 minutes later, right? Because we're looking for you. We're like, okay, I'm in this area, 5-mile radius, all the open houses. I'm gonna find them on Facebook and I'm gonna drop in and give them my care package, right? My bottle of water.
That would actually be insane to have that as a feature. Like imagine even from a consumer perspective, you could drive into a neighborhood and it's like, here's all the open houses within a vicinity. I'm going to add this to my future MLS. So it's coming. I'll get it. All right. So for real, Larry, now I want to ask you and Oliver, but starting with you, Larry, a serious question. I mean, I guess the last one could potentially be serious, but essentially I want to ask you, as someone who is super adamant and extremely active on TikTok, I mean, you're batch recording like hundreds of videos and you're doing like every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. You know, what do you see, especially with the changes going on with the scrutiny that TikTok is getting again and again, right? Like they kept saying, I'll fix the problem. and then they don't. And then we find that it was willful, and then go TikTok, oh, we didn't know. And it's like, you didn't know the last time. You didn't know this time. How are you supposed to make changes that fix it if you don't even know? Like, how do you know it wasn't the software engineers that were in on it? Those are the same guys you're going to go and ask to fix the problem, right? So are you going to still use TikTok / what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
So my mindset is probably more like Oliver's, is that I'm also a marketer, right? I mean, yeah, I'm a loan officer, et cetera, whatever, but I've always been a marketing person first. I have my own coaching group and my own marketing company, whatever. So I kind of have the same mentality. So the way I look at TikTok and content creation is probably different than most people. Okay. I understand the importance of creating a footprint. I understand the importance of creating an audience. I understand the importance of just putting stuff out there so that you can just have possible random occurrences of the stars aligning and someone seeing your video and wanting to work with you, right? I understand that mentality, right? I'm also a person that understands that TikTok is a video editor first, which happens to have a very strong community backing it. Okay. What I mean by that is if you look at a lot of applications that allows you to create things like memes or other video editing software, you'll realize that most of them are a functional piece of app first that has a community behind it, right? And the community is just like share your meme to the group, whatever, right? TikTok just happened to have a very insanely explosive community behind it, right? So TikTok,
that's fair, because stuff like TikTok has existed for a long time. I mean, TikTok, an ability to edit a video on your phone and share it with others, has been around for 10, 20 years at least.
Yep.
I don't know about 20 years. I don't know. It's all meshes together. I'm like, when did we even get to this, right? Like, but
yeah, the fact that
perspective.
Yeah, the fact that I look at TikTok as a very good video editor, I'm always going to use TikTok to create no matter what, right? And the fact that it happens to have a community, of course, I'm going to leverage it. Okay. But in reality, the reason why I joined TikTok, because I had the same mentality as a lot of people have. Another platform, great. I'm already trying to wrangle Instagram. How am I going to deal with TikTok and Snapchat and all this other crap, right? That was my mentality. But the fact that TikTok allowed me to literally share the video really easily, instantly, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Snapchat, et cetera, is the reason why I signed up for TikTok in the first place. I actually regret that mentality because I was actually watching TikTok before it was TikTok. It was Musical.ly. And I remember watching this like, man,
you could have been an OG.
I know. I was like, dude, this is actually kind of interesting because I lip sync already anyway. I was TikToking before TikTok was a thing. Okay. I was doing lip sync videos on Facebook, but it was 3-minute videos, not 15 seconds. 15 seconds would have been smarter, right? But I was watching Musical.ly and I was like, man, this is like kind of speaking to me a little. It's like my vibe, right? But I was like, but mortgage related, I don't know, and I didn't jump on it, right? And I remember daydreaming about like my dream job is to do lip sync videos for mortgage related purposes and get paid doing that, right? Like just applications just raining in from my dances, right? That's what my dream was. So TikTok is basically what's created what I wanted, but I didn't jump on earlier. But still, that's okay. I can still get in on it. But the thing is, I've always saw the value behind creating short form content, right? And I wanted to share to.
I mean, shoot, at 1.3 minutes was short form.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like that's for real. Like there was a point to where everything on YouTube was just absurdly long.
Mm-hmm.
There was no short stuff, right? There really wasn't. There was no art form on YouTube. I wish I stuck with it because I was on YouTube very, very early. And I didn't even understand social media. It was just like, oh, I wrote this song. It's literally like emo hair Robert, right? Like hair, like covering how my face. Like
I see some of the videos,
and then I've got my gloves on. Why am I wearing gloves inside? I don't know, but I've got my fingerless gloves on with my guitar, and I'm like, this is the song I wrote, and right, because I just wanted a way to share, but I didn't understand because I was so young. I just didn't understand that like branding. You're building a brand. I didn't understand consistency. First of all, school. There's nothing in school ever teaches you about being consistent in anything.
No.
Yeah.
They say show up not by your own volition, but by being dictated by someone else. But they don't teach you how to reason and how to think about showing up by your own choice.
There's no
What you believe in.
voluntary consistency. It's if you've got a job, you need to go up and every day and show up to the person, which is all. I agree with that 100%. Problem is, for self-employed or entrepreneurs, there's a large period of time when you're starting up that nobody is at the office waiting for you, and maybe you don't have any clients. And how do you show up every day when nobody's paying your bills, when you can just stay home and watch cartoons all day? Like, how do you show up on those days? Nobody's cheering you on. It doesn't feel good going, like, working in, like, I don't know, freaking in your living room while your kids are at school and your wife's at work, and you're just kind of there, like, figuring out what should I do next. Like, that's consistency is really hard there. So if it's okay, I kind of want to transition that into the way that I would answer the question. Is it a good time?
Not yet. I have 2 more points I want to make real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go. And then we
quick.
got to go quick because I want Walvar to get on this next juicy topic before he's got to go. He's got to go 5 early.
Sure. So what I was trying to get to is I'm always going to create content no matter what. TikTok just happens to be the best content creator right now. And I'm going to use TikTok full steam, full force ahead, even if it were to get canceled, because I'm going to be able to get the videos I want out of it. Right. And if it's not TikTok, it's going to be something else anyways. Okay, so I don't care, right? I just happen to have a strong community, which I'm going to try to leverage, right? Which I'm not doing an amazing job of, but doing better than most loan officers and real estate agents. Okay, so that's the reason I still stick to it. Okay, I stick to it. Number 1. Number 2, even if TikTok were to get canceled, some super genius is going to just recreate Sock or some crap, right? An American version of it, right? And they're going to steal that. Just like Vine died and then TikTok took all the Vine members, right? So I'm not worried about it, right? I'm going to invest all my energy into TikTok and create the content, create the audience, and then I'm going to move my audience, if I need to, migrate to the new app if TikTok were to get canceled. Okay, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too concerned about it. I invest all my time and energy into it. Just like Gary Vee said, you got to just go all in. If it crashes or dies, well, then, you never know, right? Because it could be the next big thing. It could be the reason why you actually launch and blow up your business, right? And, in terms of privacy, just like Gary Vee said, privacy is dead. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's nothing to be worried about it, right? You kind of just have to accept it and just act accordingly. Right? It's like, okay, you're going to look at the files on my phone. Well, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to download anything I don't want you seeing on my phone. That's my mentality, right? You can see, you can hear through the walls. Well, then I'm going to make sure I'm going to say stuff that is okay if you were to record it. I mean, my wife has Ring cameras all over the house. Don't you think I'm being more careful what I say because I'm being recorded constantly, right? I'm not going to say, F-bomb, mother FF to my son, in my house because I know that might be recorded, right?
Hey, son, we're going outside so I can say this.
Exactly. I'll go to the garage, right? But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you just got to act accordingly. Privacy's dead. It is what it is. If TikTok sticks around and they steal all my information and content and data, I don't care as long as you're giving me views. That's all that matters to me. So yeah, that's my 2 points.
I like that you have a conscious awareness of what you are expecting out of it, and it's not delusional. So quick yes or no: Will you be using TikTok currently? And still?
Yeah, until I'm dead. Yes.
Awesome. To audience, and then also Oliver, will you still be using TikTok, whether for yourself or helping clients through it, right? Because even if you're helping clients, that means you need to stay aware. You need to know how it works, even if it's not your favorite platform.
So just kind of, I want to answer just what people are kind of commenting in the chat if they're going to be using TikTok. So is it okay if I kind of answer that question for myself?
Yeah.
So I personally, at the moment, I'm not using TikTok, not because of any like moral outrage or anything like that. Because there's a couple of things. First off, is like there's going to be more platforms that come up. I'm not saying to replace TikTok. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it will happen. I think TikTok is a powerhouse. But like for people like to not get involved in every single platform that comes up at the beginning, like Clubhouse is also a thing, and it is a thing. But like Clubhouse was like all the rage, and then like it kind of just it didn't. And like I still think that there's a time and a place for it. I think TikTok is very different, just to be clear, because TikTok is massive, and I'm not on there. Just again, full transparency. But I do believe that people kind of need to stop with the moral outrage, and I'll tell you why. Not because it's not wrong that they're spying on you. I think, as Larry said, like Larry took a very, again, pragmatic, practical approach to it. Like, listen, it's not about right or wrong. I have a job to do. I'm a marketer, and it's my job to use the tools that are available to me. right? And it's available to you. So you'd be foolish not to leverage that tool. Again, there's other considerations as well. But let's be real. If let's say there was a tool out there, which basically this is what TikTok has. Let's say there was a tool out there that you could literally listen in to people's conversations in their house. And the second somebody says, I think we might want to buy a house, you get notified internally and immediately. And then a text message goes out to that person and says, hey, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, give me a call or something. And then basically nudges them. And you know exactly the psychology about how to present that information in a way that they're going to call. Like, let's stop it with the moral outrage. You would do it. People would do it because at the end of the day, if you're the one holding that stick, if you're the one basically in power, you're going to leverage it. And the other thing is, it gets even deeper than this because TikTok created the platform that everyone goes on. So not only do they have the infrastructure in place to make an exorbitant amount of money from, because they're not charging you for a subscription, right? Which means that you are the currency. So again, stop with the moral outrage. Because if you're gonna be outraged about the fact that they're spying on you, then like, okay, so let's go and join a subscription-based social media platform, which I don't know.
Leave Google, leave Facebook, leave Instagram, leave everything.
There are out there, but at the end of the day, when and their selling feature, I'm sure, and I don't know this personally, but I'm sure it's like instead of basically your data being the currency that we leverage, our currency is the subscription. But you know what? Nobody knows about those things because everybody, at the end of the day, they want to sit in their living rooms judging everybody else and all of these other large companies, which, let's face it, it's wrong that they're spying on you. However, you're not joining a paid subscription social media platform. You're still on Facebook, still on Instagram, you're still on TikTok, you're still on YouTube, you're still on all of these things. So stop getting outraged at this, right? And the other thing is again, like TikTok created this. They made something where it's very understood that you are the currency, your data is the currency. It's not like they stole it. I mean, it's in the terms and conditions. So like there's a billion technicalities and loopholes for them to point to. Yeah, still not great. But like, so do something about it. But nobody will and nobody is. Because again, if as a realtor, you have the capacity to get notified as soon as somebody in their house said, I'm looking to sell my home. And then you got notified. And then you saw immediately, as soon as that started happening, you started making 10 figures a year off of real estate commissions. And then somebody says, yeah, but it's invading my privacy. And nobody forces your hand to stop. In what world are you going to stop doing that? You're not. So I would say, like, make your own decisions. You don't have to be on TikTok if you don't want to be, but for the love of goodness, stop it with the moral outrage. Like if you're going to
be honest about it.
Yeah, like do something about it then. So go and join those paid platforms, which everybody knows you're not going to do. Right?
It's the truth. It's the truth. Google steals all my information. I'm like, you're on Google right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not on TikTok, not because of some. It's myself. I don't feel comfortable.
It's not part of your plan, your marketing plan.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure that it's probably a wrong. I'm sure maybe in like a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm like, oh, I should have done that. I don't know. Like, you know what? For me right now, YouTube is my next frontier. Podcast is something I've had some success with. There are other platforms as well, but like I only have 24 hours in a day, and it's like between the fact that other things are working for me right now and the fact that I really don't want them knowing all of that information from me, like I've made that calculated decision. But for me to just sit here and be like, shame on you, Larry, for being on TikTok, because like freaking it's working for you, bro. Embrace that. Everybody else do the same damn thing. You know what I mean? If I have more time in a day, I'd also be on TikTok.
I agree. All right. So then the final question that we always do at the end of a topic is news or noise. Larry, is TikTok spying on reporters and maybe getting banned in the U.S. news or noise?
It's noise.
Noise.
Just another day.
Gonna happen.
Just another day. Yeah, no, TikTok's gonna be here to stay. If it's not TikTok, it's gonna be TikTok, like I said.
Oliver, same question for you. News or noise?
I think it's boring to agree, but I agree wholeheartedly. Like it's 100% noise because exactly like Larry said, it's either here to stay, TikTok, and again, stop with the moral outrage. If you're going to do something about it, do something about it. But let's be real, nobody will. So TikTok's here to stay because the convenience and it's just too fun. Nobody wants a gun. And money talks. And even if it does go, the free market's going to allow some other thing that's good to come in, and they're going to be around until there's enough moral outrage for that to go in. And there's another one. Like if it's not TikTok, it's what do you say, TikTok.
Yep.
All right, that was pretty intense, and I love it. So. We're gonna have to go through this next one real quick because I want Oliver to see this because this is crazy drama. And then
just to clarify, I could actually I could move rooms. Let's say if we go over time, I could just shift rooms, so we're good.
All right, then I hope you guys are ready for this. This one is insane. I normally don't cover stuff like this because it's usually very small and it's like very isolated. But this was so huge and so blown out of proportion in the real estate world that I was like, okay, I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m. because I can't even believe this. I spent so much time into this because I honestly thought it was false and it was just people creating drama. So here's what happened. Everybody knows if you're in real estate, everybody's heard of EXP for the most part. And then before EXP, there was Keller Williams, right? After EXP, you've got Real. You've got just a bunch of brokerages that come up with this kind of revenue sharing, profit sharing model. It's not new. It's been around for a long time. There's always variations of it. It's kind of like how we're talking about Vine and TikTok, and there's variations of products that come to market and they come and go. So EXP is blown up. It's extremely popular. It's one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history. Which it's great and all, but I will say, like, there will be another, just like there was, the sold out person. Taylor Swift had all 10 Billboard top 10 spots at one time. That broke history. It doesn't actually mean anything, to be honest, in my opinion. Records are so easy to break with the advancement of technology now that it's really hard for me to care about that. But I say it because I feel like I'd be remiss not to mention some of the accolades, right, that EXP has had. But here's what's crazy that happened. I just can't even believe this happened. So I saw this tweet on the left. I saw this tweet, and it says, from Glenn Sanford, who is the CEO of EXP Realty, founder of EXP Realty. All I can say is I don't post an isolated, out of context paragraph of our competitors' ICAs and PMPs. So that's oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Policies and procedures. Jeez. Basically, how we run the company, and then their relationship to agents who work with them at the company as contractors. On social media, create FUD. FUD, for those who don't know, that's a very Twitter term, by the way. Which is just someone trying to stir up trouble for no good reason. I do have some commentary of workplace, such bad form by a leader, in my opinion. Now, Glenn Sanford, if you go look at the way he talks, extremely civilized, polite, never controversial, never mean, never insulting. So for him to come out and say something like this, I was like, wow, something big happened. I did not think it involved him. I was just curious, like, I figured it was Elon Musk, right? Like, let's be real. I figured he was talking about someone going after Elon Musk or something, whatever. So here's what ended up happening. There was this guy. I'm going to drop you guys some facts real quick. Okay. You ready? So here's the story though. Someone made a claim on Facebook of EXP creating this crazy anti-recruiting law for agents who leave. If you leave EXP, you cannot recruit any of the agents and bring them with you if you have a team. You can't do that. That's what the claim was made, that it was a non-compete. For those who don't know, a non-compete, it basically means you can't touch anybody or anything from that company for 2 years in this instance. And I said, well, that's not really EXP-like. I've spent a lot of time with them. I know some of the leaders. That doesn't really sound like them. And they claimed that they slipped this policy in under the agents during holidays where nobody could view it. And it was a brand new thing. And they said, if you don't respond within 7 days during the holidays, then you're automatically enrolled in agreeing to the process. So I said, I got to look this up, okay? Because this sounds really fishy and it doesn't seem consistent with the company. So here's the facts. EXP updated their ICA. That is true. EXP added in a strict non-compete. That is false on two accounts. One, it is not a non-compete, but a non-solicitation clause, which, let me tell you, every company that has any contract that you sign to work with, either as a contractor, 1099, or an employee, do you know what they 100%, like 99.9% of the time have in that contract? A non-solicitation agreement, and oftentimes a non-compete as well. So first of all, that alone by itself, that is nothing new. But distinguishing that it is a non-solicitation is very important. Solicitation versus non-compete are two very different things. And then the second point of where it's untrue is it had already been there under the company's policy and procedures, and they consolidated it into the ICA. That means that every agent who was with them at EXP has already agreed to these terms. It has been there from the beginning. We saw someone who was the 400th agent at EXP which, by the way, there's now 90,000 agents EXP. So the 400th agent, right? So they've been there a while. And they said, listen, I checked my policy and procedures manual and it was there. I signed. I agreed to this.
Mhm.
And so, so basically we see this, what looks like willful misrepresentation, because what happens is, the next part of this claim in this article, I did not have time to grab the screenshot. I grabbed these ones. I did not grab the original one, but it's very easy to find. And I will mention names because it is publicly and out there, so you guys can do your own research. But he claims that it's extremely insane and unprofessional to have a non-solicitation clause. I say that's subjective. And then I think it's objectively false. So subjectively, I think it's like, you decide as someone who's signing an agreement with a company whether you like their policies and procedures, whether you like their ISC or not. And then objectively, when you say objectively, that doesn't mean morally. That's two separate things. It's kind of like what Larry was saying. Objectively, TikTok is useful regardless of their ethics, right? So objectively, a non-solicitation is a widely used thing amongst all brokerages, small and wide. I guarantee you, Larry, in his contract with his mortgage company, has a non-solicitation, and they might even have a non-compete in it. I don't know, but I'm telling you, it's there. So we get these series of claims, right? And it's getting pretty wild. Here's what gets even funny. The crazy part is that it seems to be that there's this kind of trend of, if it's EXP, we care. If it's anybody else, we don't. RE/MAX has a very strict non-solicitation agreement for their agents, and they have had so many people that were previous RE/MAX that they're suing. So they're suing their previous agents that left RE/MAX and are trying to solicit agents from RE/MAX to join them at some of these other KW, EXP, Real Brokers, etc. So why is that not headlines? They're literally suing people. We don't care. Nobody talks about it. EXP updates their ICA to consolidate it with the same policy that agents have had all along, and then suddenly they're the devil. That seems a little biased, right? Now, I know I'm dropping a lot of facts on you guys because it's really important that you have the context, and it was a lot to handle. So here's where we get into who made this and why, right? So the post and claim were made by a guy named Robert Palmer, who, after I did a little bit of research, it was not hard work, let me tell you, discovered that he was the CEO of a small, new, upcoming brokerage. What? What? That just doesn't sound right. Now here's where it gets better. He went and shared on earlier in his Facebook his model. Do you know what EXP split is? It's an 80-20 with a 16K cap. Do you know what his company split is? It's 80-20 with a 15K cap. Okay? All right. He has a revenue share model. Interesting. That's very interesting. He has a revenue share model, which arguably the revenue share, not profit share, revenue share, EXP put it on the map in the brokerage world. I mean, they really just put it on the map. There was really nobody before them. I'm sure there's small brokerages who tried. The closest was KW with profit share, but profit share and rev share are way different. So I said, that's really interesting. So he, and among other features, he's essentially a direct copy of EXP and then has an issue. So then we go back to where we see this. This is where this came from. People are like, Glenn, why is this guy saying this? What's going on? So Glenn posted on that, posted about the incorrect statements. Then he invited this CEO of this company to join him on a live talk for everybody, right? So he's putting his money where his mouth is. I'll go public. Let me show you why you're incorrect. Let me show you how it really works. Let me explain things to you. Well, guess who didn't show up to the live? The same one who was so bold to make his claims didn't show up to actually discuss the facts. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now it gets even better, guys. You ready for this? This is like, what the heck? And this is all going somewhere, okay? So the name of his company is LPT Realty. And in his own ICA, it states that they have the right to, that they have a non-solicitation clause that is almost identical to EXP's non-solicitation clause, but his is a little bit shorter. That's it. That's it, guys. I mean, I'm not even kidding. People posted pictures of EXP's non-solicitation clause and his side by side, and I'm pretty sure he just copy and pasted and then just changed the timeline a little bit.
He used the new AI writing tool.
There it is.
Rewrite this.
Rewrite this. Make it almost exactly the same, but
sounds maybe a little bit friendlier. So
right now, here's where it gets even funnier, because a lot of people, I wish I had more time to like screenshot comments and stuff. This dude got roasted so hard. The only people that advocated for him, right? There was no KW people coming to his side. There was no Coldwell Banker people coming to his side. The only people were, guess what? His founding agents that were there and founded the company with him, or there early on. All they did was talk about how great the company was. They didn't address any of the concerns. They didn't address any of the problems. And then this is where it gets even funnier. One person comes in and says, I noticed in your ICA that he, by the way, this was the owner. He posted his ICA because he was so bold and kind of cocky about it. They said, hey, you know what's really weird? Is that your ICA says that you have the right to take 50% of agent commissions when they leave. But you've been bragging this whole time about how you're for agents and how when agents leave, you don't penalize them with non-solicitations and non-competes and all of this crap. And then they go, you know who doesn't have that clause? EXP. EXP isn't taking 50%. And in fact, EXP is one of the few companies that allows you to take your listings with you when you leave. You just have to give proper notice. By the way, brokerages do not have to do that, and most do not do that. Most, in my experience. I should always say in my experience, and I would love to know your experience. So here's the last thing I'm going to say, and then I just want your guys' honest thoughts, like, because about what I'm about to say, right? Is first of all, recruiting is a part of every company in every single industry. Yes, even you real estate agents out there who say that you aren't recruiters, all you do is try to recruit clients. You try to recruit your past clients to bring you more business. You try to make money in your little pyramid scheme, which is very, very short and simple. You're at the top, your clients are at the bottom. Let's be real. That is how this works. Everybody's got their own pyramid scheme. Everybody is trying to recruit 24/7 all the time. And if you're not, you're going to go broke and you're going to go out of business because you need revenue to stay in business. So to act like recruiting is this taboo, which people do with EXP. Before EXP, they did it with KW. I mean, they said awful things about KW. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. Why? Because I want to make money? That's the Kool-Aid? You know what? Sign me up, man. I will drink that Kool-Aid all day long. I'd like to make money. You can stay broke. Thank you very much. But how you do what you do matters. That's where you differentiate yourself from being a sleazy, shallow, shady business practitioner to a outstanding, reputable person. Because what we saw here is that we saw the CEO of LPT Realty, who maybe it's got a great model. If you know about Glenn Sanford, Real came and basically did a variation of EXP's model. Glenn Sanford and EXP never, you won't find anything saying bad things about Real. In fact, you'll find instances where they complement each other because there is room and place for all. But what this CEO did is he directly misinformed people. And you can't tell me. Well, and here's what I say. And this is the last part, then I'm going to let you guys talk about is let's play super nice guy, devil's advocate, right? Which is maybe he just didn't understand it, what he was saying. Okay, let's do that because then that's the whole spectrum, right? Malicious, intentional, all of that, or innocent mistake. Here's what I'm going to encourage you to think about for a second. If we try and put this in a positive light and say it's an honest mistake, then I'd encourage you to question whether joining a brokerage that has a CEO who doesn't appear to know the NAR code of ethics, which, by the way, we'll get into in just a second, but I'm going to let these guys talk a little bit. But the NAR code of ethics, or the difference between a non-solicitation and a non-compete, is that really someone you want leading you who does not know the basic fundamentals? So either they're terribly malicious, willing to lie and misinform people, not great reasons to be led by them, or they have no clue how their industry works, how their contracts work that they use. And that's who's leading you. All right, guys, that was a lot. I know there was just so much that happened. I was like, I don't know how to. But what I love is that neither of you are real estate agents. So your perspectives are really like, holy crap, that was a lot.
Yeah.
What's going through your head, Oliver?
Let me just preface before I say anything is that this is the first I'm hearing about it, and everything I'm about to say is based on the information that you've kind of provided.
I take full responsibility. So if you say anything and it seems like it's wrong, don't blame Oliver or Larry. Blame me. I did my best. It's all public. You can go find it yourself too. So let me tell you, go research yourself if you disagree or think I'm lying or I'm inaccurate. I really did try my best.
But I'm not surprised about any of it, because number one is again, you can try to give some positive spin on this if you want. At the end of the day, like, and then you said that maybe he doesn't know the NAR rules or code of conduct. Like, let's be real. Again, kind of same thing with the moral outrage beforehand. Like, the only thing that's keeping everybody in line is basically the legislation that's trying to keep everybody in line. So he knew what he was doing. He thought he could get away with it. It turns out it didn't work. And the guy looks like an idiot. So that's the first thing. The second thing is like, if you think about the people who are like haters, it's either people who've got nothing going on in their life or people who were threatened by someone else. This guy, obviously, he's got stuff going on in his life. He's very threatened by EXP because EXP is obviously, he's going after them and he wants everything there. It's also a very common sort of enemy. He thought he would basically band all of the people together who hate EXP. And unfortunately, there's a ton of them because everybody just hates. Say, like, it's crazy. Like, the amount of, like, I'll have like some people maliciously respond to me for like, how long you've been an agent, and like, F that toxicity. I know all you're trying to do is sell me something. It's like, I'm actually just trying to have a conversation, but like, we're good. Like, you're in the sales industry too. What's your problem, dude? Like, just chill the heck out. That's unfortunately what's happening over here. And I think that the reason that people hate EXP agents is, as you said, we've all got our own little pyramid scheme. Just most people's pyramid scheme is just like you and then your clients. EXP happens to be, they made it a little bit more robust, but for some reason that's a problem, right?
Right.
I don't really.
And yet, if any brokerage turned around that didn't have a revenue share model and it's like, hey, you know, Oliver, you're let's say you're an agent. Hey, Oliver, you know what? I'm just gonna start giving you some money.
Yeah.
For what you do.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, that is terrible. I hate you. You're the worst ever. Don't give me money.
It's like you've just opened up more income streams. It's like affiliate marketing.
What a monster, right?
People make bank with affiliate marketing.
They do. You think Russell Brunson? You think Tony Robbins? All of those guys, Gary Vee, all of them have multiple revenue streams that oftentimes have affiliate and things like that. Anyway, I cut you off. Forgive me.
No, so what's interesting to note is really everybody kind of has a problem with. Everybody has a problem with people like not liking them. Like, how many times am I like speaking to an agent or something about like the next big opportunity, and they go, yeah, but like, I don't know, people don't really like that. I don't want to be that guy. It's like, if you're looking at this situation, the CEO of EXP, obviously he's going to have his hate, but now that it's all kind of unfolded, maybe like during it, everybody was like, oh, EXP sucks. But like, now that it's all unfolded, who's the guy that looks like the dick here? Right? I don't even remember his name, honestly. I don't remember his company, that Palm or something. Whoever that is, based on the information he just provided, he looks like the idiot. And the CEO of EXP came out looking a lot better. So I believe that people who run their business based on populism, based on trying to walk the line so as to not offend anybody, like, you're doing such a short-sighted business strategy, and it's just not going to work, as opposed to this guy, EXP. He's okay going to the fire as long as he can back up what he's saying. And you know what? It works, because people can hate EXP, like him, hate him, it doesn't matter. They're crushing it. Right? Like, Keller Williams was different, and they were like the new thing before EXP came along, and like, people working in Keller Williams love it. People who work in EXP love it. So say what the heck you like. At the end of the day, the lessons that I'm getting out of this is, first off, I'm not surprised at all, because at the end of the day, when it's like, when your back's against the wall and you have no actual plan of attack to proactively improve yourself and make yourself better, all you know how to do is basically cut other people down, which is why you see people trying to charge 0.5% less on commissions to try to generate more business. Like, it's a very short-sighted strategy, and maybe it works today, but it does not work tomorrow. Like, if you want to build something that lasts, you need to do good things, provide good value, and like, not worry about it if you're going to fall in the line of fire. And so I get people be responding to me with vitriol on what I do. At the end of the day, I got to keep on showing up, keep on doing good work. And as long as the people that I'm working with appreciate the stuff that I'm doing and find value in what I'm doing, like, I'm happy with that. And it works out for the long term. I think it's a little bit more of a philosophical answer that I'm giving right now to what I think about all of this. It's a hell of a lot to unpack, but I think, like I said,
so much.
Logistically speaking, I'm not surprised by any of it. I think it's very on brand, apparently, from what I've just heard, that the guy's gonna what was it, like the cap is like 15,000 instead of 16,000. Like, wow, like great, like really creative way of doing that there. It's literally like a budget agent. I'm gonna charge you 2%, he's gonna charge you 2.5%. Like, way to go, buddy.
Way to go, buddy. You haven't changed anything, but way to go, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So none of this kind of surprises me. And I think that, if anything, the biggest thing that I would say is I hope anybody watching this, listening to this, and watching the whole thing unfold, think about who you'd rather be in that predicament. And if you'd rather be the CEO of EXP, because even though he went through the line of fire and even though he's taken his fair share of hate, he looks like a stud at the end of this.
Well, look at this is what he said, right? He didn't call out people's names. He didn't call out people's companies.
Yeah, exactly.
He invited him to discuss it publicly. So not even like the backroom stuff of where they make threats or crap, right?
Yeah.
He said, we'll go public so everybody can hear us discuss this. For me, I was like, he probably handled it better than I would have.
Oh, absolutely. The guy, honestly, like, he came out.
I'm impressed.
He came out looking like $1 billion. Like, the guy looks like an
and he is a billionaire, so even better.
Yeah, he looks like a stud. The other guy looks like a donkey. And what's crazy is that the other guy was the one who picked the fight in the first place. And the other guy,
it reminds me of It reminds me of like when Nick Cannon tried to pick a rap battle with Eminem, and all the other rappers were like, "Bro, what are you doing?" Nobody actually wants to rap against Eminem.
Oh.
Nobody.
Go home, buddy.
I was like, are you kidding me?
How you doing? And Eminem was like, all right, like, let's go. We got this. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so what's interesting is this is the final thing. I forgot his name, Palmer, whatever his name is. But like, Palmer's strategy was, let me kind of rile the troops. Because everybody already hates EXP for some stupid reason. Let me kind of rile the troops here. And let me just speak what's already in their hearts and just turn them against them. And I'm going to basically play populism to the max. And then the guys like didn't call out any names, no populism, just responded ethically, whatever. And at the end of the day, nobody came to Palmer's defense. And everybody was like, you're an idiot. And everybody sided with the CEO.
All right, now I got to say something. All right, I'm putting it out there in the world. Just watch this. Just keep your eyes out for Robert Palmer running for office.
Actually?
No, I'm just telling you, with this game that he's playing and how shameless he was.
Yeah.
I mean, this screams political left and right. This screams someone who just says, I will abuse as much power as I possibly can get. Now, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he learns from this. All right, Larry, let's give you a chance. From a loan officer's perspective, you work with agents all the time. You work with a variety of brokerages as well. You heard all this. What the crap, man?
So, yes, I'm a loan officer, and I don't even know how to begin to think like a real estate agent. So I cannot pretend to know what anyone would think or react on a real estate agent level. For me, it's just another day. I mean, real estate agents and the companies,
they drama queens.
they bicker about each other, talk trash about each other. I mean, I made memes, with EXP, Keller Williams, and Remax, making fun of each other, whatever. I mean, half the posts and groups are like, EXP versus Keller Williams, which is better, or whatever, or real, whatever. I mean, all these different brokerages, it's just another day, right? That's the way I look at it. I've never heard of this guy. Oh, okay. I never heard of Robert Palmer. When you said Robert Palmer, I thought he was like the 80s singer guy, whatever.
I know, right?
But no, it's actually, I LinkedIn him. He's a different guy. It would have been cool if it was the same guy, because I might actually join his brokerage if it was the actual 80s singer guy, right? But I've heard of LPT because I've seen it posted. I didn't know what it was, right? I didn't know. When you said that there was a competitor, I thought it was going to be real, right? That's what I thought.
Real's been real classy, man. Hey, that's funny. Real's been classy. EXP's been classy with each other. They've been, in my opinion, they've done really well to
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen anything yet, right? And when you said there was drama, I was like, oh, it's real.
It's got to
right?
be real, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what you would assume.
yeah, because they're the new kids in town that are taking market share, right? They're growing, but it's LPT, which I guess is growing as well, apparently. So it's the first time I heard about Robert Palmer. I heard about LPT, but I didn't know they were actually a thing, right? But it seems like they are. And from my perspective, I mean, if I'm going to be really honest, I think it's a smart move on Robert Palmer. Even though he looks like an idiot, now he's more relevant, right? He literally put himself on the map. He literally put himself on the same level, so to speak, right, with the CEO of EXP. Right, he got it's almost like a celebrity responding to a fan's comment. Right now, all of a sudden the fans got their 15 minutes of fame. Right, even if the fan is a hater and talking trash, you see what I'm saying?
I told you, it's like political, right? It's like when a Republican goes and says all the Democrats are the problem. We know it's not true. When the Democrat goes, the Republicans are trying to kill you all. We know that's not true. Like, we know that both sides have problems, but that's not how you rally the troops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, I mean, maybe LPT is small enough for it not to make a lot of collateral damage, right?
They're not even outside of Florida, from what I've researched.
Well, then there you go, right? So it's almost like maybe they plan this out. Like, hey, I'm going to go up against the big guys right now, guys. I'm going to talk trash about the CEO of EXP or EXP in general. You guys ready for this, right? And I'm pretty sure there was okay, I can't say I was pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they're all okay with it. Right, that maybe they're panicking, maybe they're upset. I don't know, but they're not like, "Oh my God, Robert Palmer, we need to go assassinate this guy." They're not thinking that right now. You know what I'm saying? And again, I think again, in terms of political play, like you said, or gaining some sort of relevancy, whatever. I think it's a smart move on Robert Palmer. Whether or not he chose the right attack.
Yeah, whether it's ethical, whether it's respectful, that's a different conversation.
That's a tactical thing. Yeah, and I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking it's almost like when you go to prison, you gotta find the biggest guy and you gotta knock him out, right? So he's in prison, he got to swing for the biggest guy, which is EXP, right? And he took a swing, right? And EXP noticed. You see, and of course the CEO of EXP, he squashed them. You know what I'm saying? He humbled the guy, but still.
But there was a little some other guys in prison who saw him and said, "Okay, that guy has the big enough balls to go and swing at the biggest guy here. I'm not going to mess with that guy."
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with the guy. And now agents might be like, "Oh, there's an EXP alternative." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's a smart play. I mean, it depends on the age of the organization, how long they've been around, how big they are. I don't see lawsuits happening because of this. This is more like just kind of back and forth.
This is what I want to bring up. It's actually very interesting. He said lawsuit. And then, wow, we went so over today. We didn't even get to the last thing I had. So we're going to have to do it another time. Maybe we'll do it next week.
And I want to give Larry a little bit of credit there. I think that's a really good angle that I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't think of, because exactly like you said, Larry, I don't know where you're from, but if you're not from Florida, we've got three people who aren't in Florida who just today went to the website. I went to the website as you were talking just now to check it out because I don't know anything about them. I had no idea who LPT was. Now I do. And as you said, like, they're not big enough that any collateral damage is going to really be a problem. But now more people are hearing about them. And what the heck are we doing here talking about them? But like, it's freaking news and it's exciting stuff. So I like your take.
I struggled with wanting to cover it because I was like, I really don't like to bring in brokerages because people are so sensitive and can't talk objectively. But then part of me also is like, I want people to know what's happening, because even if this guy gains, and it plays perfectly. Look at these three people are talking about my brokerage. That's my plan. Listen, I'm still going to cover it because it actually is a big deal that happened. And here's what I want to share with you guys. This is really important and where I think he could potentially actually get into some trouble. So he runs a real estate brokerage. Real estate brokerages operate under NAR code of ethics. You can say they don't, but every agent at their brokerage, including their broker, does. Like, there's so few places that aren't a NAR anymore. NAR code of ethics, Article 15, clearly states, realtors shall not knowingly or recklessly make false or misleading statements about competitors, their businesses, or their business practices. See, now that's pretty strict. And then there's also a lot more in the clause that I looked up. I won't repeat it. It's essentially a bunch of the same exact things of what I just said. But I looked at that and I started to say, okay, this could backfire for him because I know people who are on the board of their local associations, their state regulators for real estate. This guy could actually end up getting into some serious trouble. Now, will he? Probably not, because I guarantee you he's not the broker, but his broker, the agents who turned around and shared this false information. You're actually responsible for that. Agents don't seem to understand that. You're responsible if you share misleading information. You can't just say, I didn't know. Your job as an agent is to be consciously aware of what you're sharing to others. The advertising laws are so strict around real estate. You both are marketers and Larry, you're a loan officer. So you know the advertising laws are so unbelievably strict. They're basically anti-advertising real estate.
Yes.
So that is one thing I'll say that I think he poses a huge risk. And I think he puts his people under him at risk. I bet he'll be fine, right? I bet he's going to be just fine. He's still going to make a buttload of money. I doubt he'll ever reach billionaire status. It's going to be hard to reach that status with that kind of mindset. You burn so many bridges. He'll probably make a small little fortune and be happy, retire, whatever. But I think he's gonna hurt a lot of people who follow him along the way. And I think we've seen that in other companies where CEOs do whatever they want, regardless of how it affects people that are directly impacted by their decisions. Right. I mean, Elon Musk has been on fire for a lot of things. They're like, you can't just tweet. When President Trump was tweeting and talking the way he did, people said, you can't just do that. Yeah, sure. You're fine with it, but I'm not fine with it. And you're impacting my life because now other countries and other people and division and blah, 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 blah. And whether you agree with it or not, I do think we see right here that there's going to be a lot of people questioning their own relationship to this company. Crap, this guy is super sleazy. I don't want my name associated with that. Right? So for my question for everybody in the audience, right, if you're a real estate agent, I just quoted the NAR Code of Ethics. Do you feel with the statements that I made, and I encourage you to do your own research, I am not perfect, and everything that I have stated has come directly from him. So I am recycling factual information you can go verify for yourself. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm citing the NAR Code of Ethics, not my code of ethics. I want to emphasize all of this because I don't want to be misleading people. I don't want to be saying falsified information. So I'm saying it's all factual and you can go verify for yourself. But do you think that he broke that Article 15 by spreading recklessly false or knowingly or recklessly making false or misleading statements about competitors, their businesses, and their business practices? Do you think yes or no? Leave a comment what you think, because your opinion as a real estate agent actually does matter, because where you go and hang your license, right? You can also submit claims. Anybody in Florida can now submit a claim against this guy for an NAR. Well, actually, anybody who's in the NAR can submit a code of ethics claim against this guy or his broker or his agents that willingly share. Stephanie Heiser says yes. Stephanie, leave us a comment. Tell us why you personally feel that he violated the code of ethics. Now, let me ask you, Oliver and Larry, as people who are not real estate agents, so you get a little bit more objective approach to this. You're not at either company and you're not a real estate agent, so you're not going to be at either company. Do you feel, and I really want your honest answers like this, do you feel that this should have legal repercussions from regulatory bodies like the state and the counties associations, or do you feel more free market? Let them burn bridges. Let them spread falsified information. It'll all work itself out. Where do you guys land on that? Larry, let's start with you.
I think it's just more of the same, man. I mean, I've heard many brokerages talk trash about each other. I've done shows where I, bring Zillow on as a topic, and people are like, yeah, I can't be on that show because I might be held liable for talking trash about another brokerage, even though I wasn't talking about Zillow as a brokerage. I was talking about them as a marketing company, but they're like, no, we can't say anything negative about it. We can't use the Z word, whatever. I mean, to me, it's happening all the time. You see it on Facebook all the time. I'm pretty sure it's on Twitter. I mean, I think I think there might be a slap on the wrist or something. Maybe I don't think anyone's going to really go down or get. I mean, maybe there's a fine. I don't know, right? But to me, from an outsider, it's just companies talking trash about other companies. That's all it
So
is.
if you said news or noise, what would you say?
Noise.
Noise.
Yeah,
Okay.
but for real estate agents, I can understand why it could be news, right? But for me, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to change much.
I think the only thing that would make it news for me is if NAR or a local regulatory body does something about it.
Yes,
That
would be
would
news.
make it news for me personally, because then that shows the tolerance level and the enforcement of the things that we're required to follow. So Oliver, for you, man, right? As a marketer, you work with real estate agents, but again, you're not directly involved, impacted, and you probably won't ever be involved or impacted with these companies, right? I mean, how do you feel about the situation? Do you feel that governing bodies in real estate should take action? Or do you believe that it should be free market and let it work itself out?
Yeah. Well, first off, let me preface: they seem to be doing construction right freaking over there right now.
I don't hear any of it.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
Well, I've been on mute for most of the
I'd
time.
mute you, so I'd don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, yeah, I think it's something, to be honest. Is it depends on really like what the point of these legislations are. Like, if these legislations are suggestions and guidelines, then no, don't do anything about it. And like, I think that if you want to avoid trashing other companies becoming like a marketing ploy, which it is right now. Like, I like the fact, I like Larry's take beforehand is it wasn't like mindless. It was actually, maybe it was like a chess move, and it was a really smart chess move to kind of get in the conversation. And here we are talking about it for like, I don't know, an hour or whatever it is. It's a good chess move. And if you want to stop people from doing that, the only way to do that is to legislate it and to actually follow through on your punishments. So I think to tell the truth is I believe that there's a time and a place for a free market. But I think if you've made these legislations to make sure that people are basically playing an ethical game, which is what we would hope, like, don't rely on people to just do the right thing without putting the legislations in there. Like, don't, again, rely on your moral outrage to say you shouldn't do that again and give him a slap on the wrist and like he'll be okay and like it's all fine. Like, and also, like, I don't blame him for doing what he did. If it was a chess move, then it could have been a very smart chess move. But
like everybody jumping on the Elon Musk thing. There's people who had no problem with Elon Musk who took a side one way or another, right? Because it was just such a trending topic. Like, as a marketer, you'd be an idiot not to capitalize on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, again, it's like I just made a post about this recently. Like, during the 2020 elections, everybody like was into politics and everybody took a side. It's like,
yeah,
and everybody was outraged about everything. Like, if only these like leftists would stop being so stupid. If only these right-wing lunatics would stop being so dinosaur-esque and like hate spreading, whatever it is, there's always a side to be taking. I think at the end of the day, if as long as you're doing it in a way that's totally transparent, the purpose of the legislation is to stop people from doing things like this. And so I believe that forgetting about right or wrong, if you want people to stop doing it, you have to punish it in some way, shape, or form. So I actually do think that it's noise. I think that if you are a realtor in EXP, if you're an EXP agent, let's say specifically in Florida, then yeah, I think that for you to file a complaint is well within your rights, because one of the quote unquote weapons, as it were, I would say honestly, one of the defenses that you've been given is the fact that there is a rule against this according to the NAR. So take advantage of that, right? Like, if they're going to attack you with the weapons at their disposal, you may as well defend yourself with the weapons that are yours.
So, news or noise, Oliver?
News.
I like it. So for agents listening in, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Okay. First of all, I'm going to encourage you to always do your own research. Always, always, always. Do not jump on a bandwagon with your opinion until you have researched and formulated it based off of what you can find. Okay. Please don't do that. Your business and your perception of your business is led by you. You are the CEO of your real estate company. It's literally why I teach the course that I do, is to teach agents to stop being employees and start being CEOs. But you have power right now to make change. And that power is in two ways. If you think he's wrong and the governing bodies should do more about it, you can file a complaint nationally to NAR if they're a member of NAR, which they are very likely. And then if you're in Florida, you can file it locally. You can also go to Better Business Bureaus and things like that, because the Better Business Bureau, while it is not the regulatory body, it is a place where you can have your voice objectively, be objective as you can. The second thing, though, that I'll tell you is that you can make change if you don't want to go through the hassle, you don't even know, is where you hang your license. That tells you. That's like we talked about it last week. They overcharged in November. Retailers overcharged in November last week. Or in our episode last week, we talked about Black Friday sales were down because retailers have been jacking up prices more than what inflation justifies, more than what trade costs justify. We spent a pretty good chunk on that. And people spent less. And what happened was in December, we had more sales, like more discounts and sales coming from retailers than before because they heard the people. They heard them because people spent less money. So what I'm telling you is that where you hang your license is one of the most powerful and effective voices that you have. If you sell homes, if you paid fees to your brokerage, that's income streams for them. If you don't hang your license with them, they lose money. And they will hear your voice that way. They will not hear it by you calling. You think Robert Palmer's going to take your call? You think he's going to read your Google review? No. But when he looks at his P&L, profit and loss statements, when he looks at his agent increase or decrease and productivity levels, he will know the numbers. He will see the facts. So you speak for yourself in the actions that you take with the information that you have learned. I just want to remind everybody there, you don't have to sit back. You don't even need to go to his post and comment. He doesn't care. There's like 1,000 comments, guys, on this, I believe. He has not responded to a single one of them because he doesn't care. One way or another. He doesn't care because he's embarrassed, or he doesn't care because this is all part of the plan and he doesn't need to respond. It doesn't matter. You have a very effective way to make change happen. Your regulatory boards, if you feel like it, and your national regulatory, if you feel like it, and then just where you spend your money, aka your commissions, your fees, your time, your marketing, and where you hang your license. So I wanted to leave you guys with that, to just remember that you can take action, right? You can actually do something about what's happening in your industry. You don't have to sit helplessly by. So that was my thoughts on that. Man, we went so over the show, and we still had one more topic. I'll probably go next week. But I want to just say thank you so much for Oliver Bohr coming on at the last second, late last night. Seriously, I was like, I think I even asked you, like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow morning? I was worried you weren't even awake. But I should have known. You're a marketer. So
Yeah, I don't really.
You were awake. I asked Larry too if he was awake, and I was like, oh, it's only midnight. Larry's definitely awake.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's like I said, like my brother happened to be, he's in office here at a cancellation at 10 to 11. Timing couldn't have been more perfect. If it didn't work here, I would have just literally like done it in the bedroom of where I'm staying right now. So, but,
oh, thanks for sharing, Larry. Yeah, I wanted to get more screenshots, guys. I was up till like 2 a.m. and then I had to get up early because I got other work to do. Larry, thanks for being on the show too, man. Really appreciate it. I mean, what a bunch of juicy topics. I told you we were going to have fun today. So
Yeah.
for everybody watching, give us some feedback for what the mortgage, how we approached that, 5 minutes or less. We made it kind of fun, a little bit of goofy. We added the what the funny fact in there too. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was stupid and it made you want to tune out? Let us know if in the comments that what you liked and disliked. Did you like the fact that we talked about these really juicy, big trending topics? Or did you feel like, guys, I wanted more objective stuff. I wanted more practical application stuff. You guys know week over week, I'm always experimenting with the show, trying to find ways to bring you value, see what sticks, right? Your feedback helps to dictate that. So please let us know in the comments. And then, of course, tell Oliver and Larry how much you love them and how much you loved them on the show. That way I know to keep bringing them back and keep doing more. I mean, Larry, you're kind of stuck doing what the mortgage is going on anyway, but
Yeah.
Thank you again, guys. Larry, well, Oliver, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to have you guys back again. See you later, guys.
Later.
Everybody else, that was Scale Through the Fail, big juicy version. Because man, what a topic, several topics. Now, the last thing we didn't get to was I was going to do a real estate recap of 2022. I'm thinking we're just going to do that in the first episode of the new year. That's a great place to do it too, right? So next week we'll be doing a real estate recap among other trending topics. If you've got a trending topic that you see and you're like, man, I want these guys to cover it, I want them to talk about it, whatever, send us a message, or actually even better, leave a comment. Let us know. Don't forget to drop your random funny facts in the comments too, because we might just feature it in an episode. And then leave your opinions, right? Leave your opinions about what you think of the topics we discussed today, and what you loved and what you hated about the show. Because we're just going to keep rolling through and making it better and better and adjusting as we go. So yeah, we go live every Friday, 9 a.m. Central. Scale through the fail, real estate news, noise, and what's next.